So we're in our third and final season of the beta save before the main game gets released, and I'm hoping we have a good time. We're expected to be finishing in 10th place according to the season preview. We will be in the Copa Libertadores, so we'll be in continental football for the very first time, and we're still £4.4 million in the red. We are expected to repair the club's financial damage, and we are struggling to do so right now, which is very ominous. We also have a youth intake preview, which I like to think could provide us with something good, seeing that we have a winger, 2 strikers, and a centre-back to be excited about. So, let's go forward to that, shall we? Since we last met, we just had the one match, and we won 3-0 against Juan Cadiz, despite having 2 goals for offside. So it really was one of those games where it could have gone against us, but thankfully it didn't. We've also made 2 signings. The first is Leider Reyesco, who I like to think could be a good defender for us on the right. The second is also another right back in the form of Savio. Savio can also play as a DM if we need him to, so he's very versatile in our wishes. We also had about 5 players that we talk about, so let's go over the players we've had in this youth intake. Eder Hurtado was the one that was top of the list for potential ability, and I think, okay, he's not amazing, but he has potential. The Holy Trinity looks quite decent, and it could be better, but we need to really work on his mental and physical attributes to really utilize all that he has, as well as his technical abilities. We had a goalkeeper in really Torado, and not sure if I'm really a fan of his. The fact he's temperamental is not ideal for me. We got another striker in Camilo Escobar. He's got the Holy Trinity I love. He just needs to work on a few other things like his pace and his acceleration and a few other bits and pieces in his mental attributes. But other than that, he looks quite exciting. We also got a defender in Joan Abala. Needs work, a lot of work. Has decent jumping reach, good aggression and bravery. But the heading and his marking are not amazing. He needs to work on a few pieces here and there. We also had a winger in Brian Fuentes, and I think he's got good potential. He's got good attributes right now, but needs to work as well. We've also been given a draw for the Copa Libertadores in both the second quarterfinal round, which will be taken on Blooming. We've also been told who will be getting in the third quarterfinal round if we get that far, and it looks like it's going to be Fluminense, which is not ideal. And then we have a group stage, which has already been drawn. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know which one it will be, but I think it might be this one, with Alianza, Barcelona, and Nacional all being the teams we are taking on. And I'll say this team, it's Barcelona Sporting Club in Ecuador. They do have the same badge as the Barcelona in Europe, though, so yay for them. So now, let's go forward a bit more. I want to show you something very important that happened. I want to talk to you guys about my recent run of form, and we've had an entire month since we last met. We won our next 2 games. We beat Envigado in the league by a goal to 0. We beat Blooming 3-0 in the Copa Libertadores. Before we were beaten 2-1 by Independiente in the league. We beat Blooming again 2-1 this time. We then took on Patriotas Boyasa in the league and beat them 3-0. Before we lost 1-0 at home to Fluminense. We then beat Deportivo Pereira by 3-1 in the league. Before we drew 2-2 in the second leg against Fluminense and were knocked out by 3-2 overall. However, that's not the main story here because of this message. The board are very disappointed with the club vision progress, and we've been called into a meeting. Now, I went to this meeting. I got this option here, right now. And they were disappointed with the fact we did not reach the Copa Libertadores proper despite being an important part of the club vision. What happened? We're also disappointed with the fact that we've failed to operate within the wage budget. Now, I said that's football at the end of the day. I'm disappointed to the players, but we're determined to make amends for next season. They didn't like that, and they didn't like the fact I didn't resign. And then they told me that I could see my long-term future with them. I'll be honest with you, when I got given that option after winning 4 of my first 5 league matches, and they were willing to terminate my contract over the Copa Libertadores, I was a bit stunned. I couldn't believe it. Thankfully, though, we were able to get past it, and I asked for another chance because, you know, I had got this team for the second tier to the top flight. Why would I not ask for a second chance? I've done so much for the club after all. I deserve another chance. This is just a blip. This is just a small blip in our record. We'll do right. And they agreed. So, we saved our job. But for how long? How long have we saved our job for? That's the question. I don't know. I'm going to go to halfway point of the season now because we finished the first phase of the year. So I'll see you in a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we've played a lot of matches since we last met. And in fact, we're now in another continental competition in the Copa Sudamericana. So I thought to myself, you know what? We can make some money here. So we're going to go through all the games we've had since we last met, starting from March. And we beat Mineros, the league champions, by 2-0, which is a good start. We drew the next game against Deportivo Pasto, but that's fine. But then we won the next 4 games against Cultural, Junior, Aguileras Dorados, and then Alianza Petrolera. And I thought, yes, this is a good start. Then we lost to Deportes Tolima, and I thought, okay, guys. At home as well, no less. What are you doing? We then won the next game against Deportivo Pereira before we drew 0-0 against newly promoted Bogota. And I thought, oh, that's a problem. We drew our next league game against América de Cali before we won 4-0 in the Copa Sudamericana against Honduras, which is not bad. We then drew the next league game against La Equidad. And then we went and hosted our Argentinian opponents in Samantha and beat them 5-0. We did draw the next game against Independiente Santa Fe, but we then won the next, God knows how many games. We won all the next 4 games in the Copa Sudamericana, which is great. We beat Deportivo Cali by 3-0, won against Atletico Nacional 2-0, beat Boyacá Chico, who were newly promoted 2-0 as well, and I thought things were going similarly. I really did, especially now that we're in the semi-finals of the first phase, because I thought, you know what, we're done quite well here. We drew against Deportivo Cali by 1-0, and I thought, okay, that's a minor blip, because we could beat Botoca by 4-1 the next game. We had a Colombian 4th round tie as well, which I thought was very good. We actually won both legs this time. I did not make the same mistake as last year, and the fact we were actually in the 4th round immediately instead of the 3rd round is quite good as well. But then we threw a 2-goal lead against Mineros, and I thought, it's disappointing. We then won against Deportivo Cali, and then we lost 1-0 to Mineros, and won the next game 4-1. But did that do any damage for us? Yes, we failed to win our group again with 11 points this time. Wish I knew why I always struggled in this part of the season, but I guess it's just momentum. Some teams just turning up in their time. It's always Mineros as well, where we can beat them every single time, and they won the league again. So Independiente Medellin, who were 2-time winners before we turned up and won 2 league titles in a row, have now lost in the final. So Mineros have now won 3 in a row. And I kind of want to win this league before the end of the beta or beta. I really do. It's one thing that's going to bother me if I don't win it, because I want to win as many things as possible. I like winning things. So can we win this in the future? Season preview, we're now actually up to 7th. So we've made no signs, but our players that we have bought in have gotten better and better, which is great. I just wish that the transfers from last season weren't here still, because that's going to annoy me for the end of the time, I swear it is. In fact, that might be the season, that's a transfer to the first season are still here. That's a bug, I should probably report. This is why it's a beta, or a beta is very important for this sort of thing. But yes, that's happened, and we should do better and better. Also, sponsorship income, still 16th best, but it is what it is. Financially, though, we're now at 2 million. So we've actually made 2.7 million now, which is really, really good. And it's getting better and better. We expect to have the finances of 2.85 million. We are also in other competitions still. So this is a busy page, isn't it? Like the first phase, we've got to the semi-final of. The second phase, we haven't started yet. The Copa Libertadores, that always got us sacked. We are fine in that. We're in the third quarterfinal round. And the team that beat us are in the next round. They actually won their group comfortably. So Fluminense were actually quite a good team. We're in the next round of the Copa Sudamericana. We take on Peñarol, so I hope we can beat them. And in the Colombian Cup, we have got Deportes Tolima. Now, the reason I've made this one video and not like the entire season is because there's so much happening and there's so many things going on that I don't think I really could put all the games in. I'm going to show you all the fixtures now. That's a lot of games to still to play. I kind of want to see what we can do. And this is how many games we played in the first half of the season. Imagine how much I'd have to do. And I don't think I'll be able to get the video out in time before we get to the next part. So I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. I'm going to end this here. Where do you think we'll finish in the second phase of the season, since we've now gotten the semi-final for the 3rd year running? And do you think we could win either the Colombian Cup or the Copa Sudamericana? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on that down below. But either way, I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you guys will like and share this video, and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me a lot. But either way, until next time, goodbye, and well, good night.